Good afternoon, at least on the Eastern time zone. Good morning on the Western time zone. And we may even have a few people around the world. So it could be today or tomorrow. Welcome to the RPH Ally PharmTech 360 live show. My name is Christine Klein-Dahlman. I'm very blessed to be part of this project. Our goal is to bring a variety of guests into your conversation so that you can see that being a pharmacy technician is more than counting and pouring. Today's guest is Michelle Hill. Michelle and I have known each other, I'm thinking close to 5 years. It's always exciting to visit with her. She's a marvelous example of how she had an early connection to pharmacy technician, has taken several pivots in her career, in her life even, and moved into a variety of healthcare, still keeping that pharmacy viewpoint, that technician perspective. So we'll get started here in just a moment. We're going to do our 8-second video banner, and we will begin conversation with Michelle. Hey, Michelle, welcome. This is an exciting time. As we spoke before, just before we started the program, this is a program designed to give technicians a perspective beyond the count and pour, and you are definitely an example for that. We only have about 15 to 20 minutes, even though we could talk longer. So tell me and tell our audience, how did you come to be a pharmacy technician? How did you come to that realm? And give us a couple of examples of pivots that you've made over the last few years.
Well, thank you for this opportunity to share my experience with you and your audience, Christine. So I've been in pharmacy since about 2001, which sounds like such a long time ago. I've been certified since 2003. I first got exposed to the pharmacy working for a retail drugstore that's no longer in business. And I worked in the front. And I was like, that pharmacy thing, that looks pretty intriguing. And I had healthcare aspirations, but the door didn't open with that drugstore, but it did with another. And working at that drugstore, filling in at different stores and meeting various pharmacists. I met some pharmacists that floated to the hospital system locally where I live. And that opened the door for me to start working PRN in the hospital. Mm-hmm. Then I became full time, and then the grass got greener as I went along.
You have been a technician educator. How did you come to that?
Yes, so that was one of my pivots. I was working for a drugstore retailer, and the opportunity came from a former coworker to work for a career education college, and I accepted that opportunity. Part-time became full-time. And then from there, I moved on to the technical college system of Georgia and became an instructor. Once again, it started off part-time, PRN, adjunct, and then that turned into full-time. And it also became my first opportunity to be a program director in pharmacy education. Mm-hmm. And that was a great ride. I won first runner-up for Teacher of the Year for the state of Georgia, and Teacher of the Year for my college, yes. And then from there, I moved on to the university system. So I had the opportunity to work for Western Governors University. So I've worked at several levels of higher education or post-secondary education, from the career college to the technical college or the community college, mm-hmm. and then on to the university system. So education has been a great pivot in my pharmacy career.
Well, I really like that you gave that description, and I think there's another component to your ability to do it. You also continued your own academic education, your own advancement. I think, if I recall correctly, you have a master's degree. And so how did you kind of look at pharmacy technicians, see those opportunities, and then also how did you make those choices to build your own, so to speak, pathway academically?
Well, that pathway, it was the scenic route. It wasn't the most efficient route. It was full of twists and turns and ups and downs. And I think that also contributed to my experience and my success as an instructor in higher ed. I know what it takes to succeed, and I know how to fail, right? So it started off like my first credential was my certification, and that felt so good. I remember feeling like, oh, I just got that monkey off my back. Yes. And so from there, I was inspired because I had started off going to a traditional 4-year college. I was a terrible student. I got kicked out. I was academically suspended. Somebody was like, "How'd you do that?" I was like, "Don't go to class and don't do your work. It's easy." Um, so I started my journey
Mhm.
again. I got an associate's. I was inspired. Went on, got a bachelor's in business administration, then went on and got a master's in public health with a concentration in health informatics. And so that entire span from my associate's degree to my master's degree, I worked exclusively in the pharmacy industry. So it definitely served me well.
Mm. Interesting. Well, I think your story is a great example because so many people think if they've gone through a tech training program, that's the destination. And even for pharmacists, while pharmacy education is broader for them, they still have to go on and get specialties. And I think that message is becoming more clear to technicians. Tech training is a starting point, it's not the destination. And you can enter a variety of healthcare fields based on your whole work experience, life experience, and educational experience. And that's where you are today, Michelle. I think we've talked, you not only work for another company that is healthcare, you also have your own company that kind of helps others. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so about a year and a half ago, I made what I called my professional pivot. I named my journeys. So I
Yes.
was working in higher ed for the university, and I decided that there are opportunities that I want to pursue elsewhere. And so I got an opportunity to work for a medical device company, which is where I'm currently at. And that's great. You know, it's a great job. I love the work that I do. I've grown personally, I've grown professionally. But ultimately, when I consider what my next pivot would be, I think about something that aligns with my purpose and my passion. And so that
Mhm.
has led me to take the things that I already do, the things I'm already doing, the opportunities that have come to me, and the things that people ask me to do, and create my own business. So I was able to create M Hill Solutions. And the website is mhillsolutions.com. But it's really just doing what I already do organically, but doing it with purpose, doing it with passion, doing it with my creativity, inserting my personal brand and my personality to really be impactful and change people's lives. So it's really not about making money. It's about doing the things that I innately and organically do, like through an organized platform. So that's what M Hill Solutions is all about. There's 3 facets to it. It's professional development, it's continuing education, and then nonprofit consulting. And so those are 3 areas that I'm still actively involved in and that I'm passionate about. And I work with various organizations to deliver these type of content, whether it's webinars for professional development or
Mhm.
ACPE continuing education courses. So just excited to do the things that align with my purpose and my passion that come to me naturally and that I love. Like this is my jam. Like it is.
Now, just to be clear, do you take on individual clients or do you only work with associations, organizations,
Yeah,
businesses? You
I
take
do
on
both.
personal. Okay.
Yes, I take on personal clients
Mhm.
and individual and organizations. And aside from checking the box and making sure that somebody fits a criteria, I'm interested in it being a good fit for me, a good fit for the client. Like I want a healthy relationship where we both contribute to the success of each other. So
Mhm.
personal clients is great. I do have some personal clients, corporations or businesses, other business to business clients. That's great, but I'm more interested in a good fit where we can both impact the community for the greater good.
Yes. Again, helping people make a pivot,
Yeah.
identifying what pivot to make. Absolutely. So you and I are similar in that regard. We naturally reach out to others and we're happy to share. But also sometimes there's an individual who needs a little bit more specific guidance.
Mhm.
Maybe is just like I have used and benefited by mentors and coaches and just professionals who were examples to me. I sort of feel like it's my responsibility to share back and
Yeah.
be that example, that mentor, that coach to someone else. So that's where you and I are alike in that regard. We're happy to share, but we're also busy learning at the same time. Absolutely. Michelle, this has been a great conversation. Is there anything else that you would like to close with or leave with our listeners?
Yeah, I just considering that the audience is probably mostly pharmacy technicians, I want to applaud the work that you've done in doing,
Mhm.
especially coming away from COVID 19, where I know that there was legislative action that expanded our duties, right? Expanded our scope of practice, but that expansion of duties wasn't always commensurate with an expansion in pay. So I want to acknowledge the work that pharmacy technicians do to contribute to public health and wellness overall. And I want to encourage you to continue to advocate. If somebody tells you no and there's something that you want to do, it
Mhm.
just means that that's not the right person and that's not the right opportunity. I
Mhm.
think of no as an acronym, it means numerous opportunities because even though you may encounter a no as you try to enact change,
Yes.
as you try to further your career, your education, all you need is one yes. So I want to encourage you that, even though you may encounter these obstacles, you may think there's a glass ceiling, but you can shatter it, because in spite of the no's that you hear, think of those as numerous opportunities as you await on your one yes. So continue on, pharmacy
Yes.
tech, making
Yes.
a huge difference in being a contributor to the overall wellness of your community. Well done.
Well stated. And I know that with technicians, wage and income is always a factor. And I sort of feel like if you're looking for wage increases in the specific position you're in, often it will not come, and it doesn't matter what field or what job. It's when you begin to expand yourself,
Yeah.
but the job opportunity, the life opportunity, and the wage opportunity begins to expand with you, but you have to start within. So that's
Yeah,
kind
that's a great point, Christine. My greatest opportunities have usually come when I've made that
of,
leap of faith or that change of employer employment. And you mentioned it being an evergreen, or you alluded to being an evergreen learner earlier. Like that was a part of my success too. Not saying, oh, I have this credential, so I'm done learning, but looking at free certificates, looking at free learning courses, and then adding that experience to my resume, even volunteer opportunities. But just because a door isn't opening where you are right now doesn't mean that there's not greater for you. So continue to believe in yourself, advocate for yourself, know your value, know your worth, and then demand to be compensated accordingly.
that's right. I would just like to add, the thought is coming to me. You and I are both connected to what we call accredited CE learning,
Yeah.
and we see the value in it. Several years ago, when I was in brick and mortar and was a part of the team that interviewed, screened resumes, interviewed candidates for both technician and pharmacist positions, particularly with technicians, when they said that they were nationally certified, I asked them to submit their transcript for the CE credits that they had earned in order to retain their certification.
Mhm.
And I was beginning to see that they took things that had no relevance to their job, did not speak to their interest, and it came down to cost. And I would like to say, if you're wondering about that CE component, that continued learning, invest in yourself, because when you take a learning opportunity that is new to you, even if it's pharmacist level, but it's related to what you're doing, um, you will learn of new opportunities. It's not just the body of knowledge that gives you a skill set, it's the body of knowledge that gives you the opportunity to see into the future. And so when you build your 20 hours or 20 plus hours, depending on your credential, um, take a look and see where those learning opportunities can lead you into that next stage and give you that new viewpoint. So thank you for mentioning that. It triggered my thought that I always encourage technicians, use that transcript as your leapfrog, to jump up and move forward. So yeah.
Absolutely. And move forward in learning and also look for opportunities to develop CE
Yes.
then as
Yes.
well as a pharmacy technician. Great point, Christine.
Well, thank you, Michelle. We welcome everybody today. We want to say, please come join us at RPH Ally. The membership is free. Michelle, you as well. Come join. We are building what's called the PharmTech 360 channel. We want influencers like Michelle and some of our other guests that we've had and guests that we are scheduled to have to come and share their talents, their abilities, their encouragement, and their resources to technicians who want to continue to grow so we can see the whole profession grow. All right, Michelle, we will be in touch. I thank you for today. And we will see everybody next Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Take care.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.